Don Fairfield over that ball. Down out of Casey, Illinois. A youngster in the pro ranks, but one with tremendous ability since he was discharged from the U.S. Air Force. He made over $12,000 on the PGA circuit in 1956. But he hooks it just a bit, playing the stiff breeze that's coming in on the ocean, and he hooked too much. It carries off, bounces on a rock, and right on the top of one of Bing's pet seals that float out here in the blue Pacific. We'll have seal soup for tomorrow. And that means that he'll be out 2 strokes and we'll have to shoot all over again. And the final pair of the 4, Guy Madison, will try to come to the rescue. Once again, only without the horse this time, to see if he can stay up there in this Pro-Am best ball. And they need it, believe me. There's the tee shot. And it looks like it might hook the same way and go into the water, and it does. I believe it went into the ocean. We couldn't see for sure. Now, this is a tough break for these two because Fairfield and Madison were 6 under for the Pro-Am best ball. And that's a tremendous score for them. Marshall's checking now to see if that went down. And the signal is that it did go into the drink, and they will have to shoot provisional balls and take a 2-stroke penalty. The 17th fairway here on the famed Pebble Beach course, one of 3 on the Monterey Peninsula area, in which is very appropriately called the golf capital of the world. The 17th is 218 yards from tee to green, with a long 40-foot 5-fingered trap in front of the green, just between the tee and the pin. It's a difficult one to approach, normally enough, but you have Mother Nature helping along with a stiff breeze almost continuously from the blue Pacific, and of course that makes it difficult to step into a good iron shot and reach the green. Consequently, with the wind whipping the flag rather briskly here today, most of the golfers, including the pros, are using a 2 and sometimes a 3 wood. Marshall's running forward up here now to check and see if those 2 went in the drink. The officials' song that we have here is that they are in and are not quite living up to the song that Bing opened with, straight down the middle. They probably haven't heard it yet. The scoring for the Pro-Am, for those of you that are viewing right now and probably aren't too familiar, is on a best ball basis. That is, if you have an amateur and a pro teamed together and say they are both teeing off a number 1, the pro gets a 4 and the amateur gets a 3. Well, they'll take the best score and they'll put that in the best ball scoring column, and on their first hole they will have a 3. Then on the next hole, if the amateur blows or goes out of bounds or does something like that, and the pro has a better score, they add his score. So they take the best score of the 2 of them on each hole of the 18, and that gives them the best ball scoring total, usually in the low 60s, and sometimes as low as 58 and 59, even on courses such as this beautiful Pebble Beach golf course. And that's where they get the term best ball, the best score on each hole of the 2 individual players. Then of course, the pro playing along, usually, if he hasn't been cut in the final 4 days of play, is in for his own individual low medal score, too. By medal, of course, we mean the low total, sum total of the 18 holes. The golfing gallery, tremendously large here, probably the largest in the 17-year history of the Bing Crosby Pro-Am Invitational, and one that's been enjoying themselves immensely with tremendous weather. The weather on the first 3 days of play, this being the 4th, has been just outstanding for this time of year. And for some of you where you happen to be, I know that you would give even a hole-in-one to have weather like we're having right at the moment.
We pause now for station identification. This is the CBS Television Network.
When I'm called upon to introduce one who possesses such a great abundance of charm and loveliness as our next guest, I think just about the cruelest thing that I could do would be to ask the panel of viewers to put on blindfolds. For here now is the first lady of the tournament, Mrs. Bing Crosby.
May I sign in, please, now, Mr. Daly?
That won't be at all necessary, Miss Kathryn. Your identity has already been revealed. So, now I can tell you this, that there's a lot of more than cards just flipping in my mind at the moment. As the reigning queen of this tournament, you may consider yourself the recipient of the nation's Christmas.
Well, thank you.
Hey, now, can I bust in here, John?
Why, here is the star of the big broadcast of 1936.
All right. But in that year, I think I was going under the name of Spanky McFarland.
No.
But honestly, you know what I've heard? They've been telling me that many of the renowned designers around Hollywood and from the East have created some stunning gowns.
I hear this.
Some real fascinating creations, and Kathryn here is about to describe them for this segment of our audience. Think that'd be pretty clever?
I think that's a good idea, right,
I
Kathryn?
think it's lovely. So now just relax, boys, and our cameras will take us down to the 17th green at Cypress Point. No, 16th tee at Cypress Point.
Yes,
oh, that's
please.
I'm sorry.
You're canceled.
That's the murder one. Here is the most famous golf hold in the world at Cypress Point, California, is Hollywood starlet Sandra Giles. Bold bands of hot pink combined with orange and blazing cotton are the features of this stunning dress. It's a lovely spectator dress indeed. Being admired by the gallery at the Country Club course, we find lovely Janet Ballard in a William Fox casual spectator dress of shimmering apricot Galian Lord cotton with a long, lower waistline. The box-pleated skirt and midi-length jacket with casual cut make this dress a perfect spectator's costume. Washable and easy does it. Gracing the terrace of the Del Monte Lodge at Pebble Beach is pretty Pat Newby, who modeled the Herbert Sondheim creation of iridescent orange cotton. And whether you call it a cocktail dress or, as Bing would say, a saloon sack, it has that elegant late-day look that's just right for a cool one at the 19th hole. Another bubbly original by French designer La Roche is here displayed in the tap room at the Del Monte Lodge. In this adroitly shaped cocktail dress, brilliant kumquat orange is slashed with black velvet, while the multiple-layer petticoat is of apricot tulle. Truly delightful. And now, against the picturesque backdrop of the 16th at Cypress, we spotlight a Tina Lesser original, the shirtwaist dress and gaily pleated in a colorful plaid of warm magenta, with undertones of bronze and pale pink to complement the overall pattern. Here, overlooking the 17th at Cypress Point, we see a stunning spectator dress designed by one of the world's truly great couturiers, Guy Laroche. In this, he artfully utilizes a Galian Lord double-check cotton in bronze and coral, the straightaway jacket being lined in the very same check.
And thank you, Miss Kathryn. The 3 golf courses of Bing's tournament are a very proper setting for enhancing the beauty of new fashions, ma'am.
Well, thank you, John. I'll bet I know something you don't.
What?
We've something important going on the 17th, green or tee or something. Roy Story down there will tell us all about it.
Good.
Yes, ma'am, I shall. And very important it is, dollar and cents-wise, to a fellow by the name of Don Fairfield. Because the ocean is a magnetic thing that attracts people from all over. And even they're airing shots. Not only once, but that's right. You guessed it, John, twice. Fairfield is not alone, however, because Guy Madison on his second shot also is close to or in the drink. Now, this is a tough blow. These fellas were 6 under par on their best ball. And, of course, if both of their shots are in the drink, they lose 4 right there and have to tee off and shoot 5. And that means they'd be on the green, and 5 or 6 may take a 7 on a par 3 that would erase quickly and easily 4 of the 7 under par strokes they had. That's not for sure. They're still debating, looking, and searching, and trying to see what they can find. Guy Madison on his second shot went off to the right side and skipped way over. That'd be to the, as we're following the camera now, off over the left, over the gallery, heading toward the ocean. Right there is the happy group, watching the unhappy golfer discover his plight. Now, if these two are in, they may elect to go back and tee over again, or they may be able to play a new ball from that position and take their four-stroke penalty with two balls being out of bounds or in the unplayable lie. It's sort of confusing sometimes to golfers, announcers, and spectators as to what is a playable water hazard and what isn't. However, when you see the cliffs here, you can see that to get down there, you need a rope ladder, a good 20-foot drop down to the ocean where you can become enmeshed in gigantic seaweed that is in 20-foot lengths or so and looks like cut-up fire hose. It's that large. Just a part of the Pacific's contribution to the growth of the green. Still no official word over here, as we have. And I believe that we can check in just a moment to see how things shape up.
Just a minute, folks. Now, you've got to admit that golf isn't everything. But that Golden Gal isn't here just to shake up the golfers. She's here to help announce that big worth-your-weight-in-gold contest that's now going on at your Easy Dealer store. $100,000 worth of prizes. Let's follow the little lady and see if we can't get the details.
Seems to me like that all-American boy is rather interested in you.
Oh, no. He's just intrigued with the contest, Mr. Crosby.
Intrigued, and who wouldn't be? Like the girl said, your Easy Dealer's got a contest that'll end all contests. It's starting right now. First prize is your weight in gold. And boy, oh boy, that money, that can mount up real fast. For instance, our little golden girl over here is worth $32,000. And you can win up to $62,000 or even more, depending on your weight. And there are over 5,000 other prizes, like this brand new 1958 Imperial Southampton. And that's in champagne gold. Boy, even the runner-up goes first class in this contest. Or you can win one of 10 new Easy Combo-Matic washer dryers for $1,000 if you have an Easy Automatic that you bought between last August 15th and this coming March 15th. And lots of you are going to win my brother's brand new deck album. This is called Around the World with Bing. 12 of Bing's all-time best in high fidelity. This is a real collector's item, and it hasn't even been released as yet. You just get your entry, your contest entry blank from the dealer who sells Easy Laundry appliances, and tell us in 25 words or less why you would like to own an Easy Combo-Matic. That's all. Easy does it. Ask the dealer about this wonderful, work-saving, time-saving, Easy Combo-Matic washer-dryer. You'll think of dozens of reasons why you'd like to own one. And looky here. You also get for free this new 89-cent Decca record of Bing's. You get that free just for entering our contest. So you see the man with the entry blanks now. You're worth your weight in gold to Easy.
Again at the 17th green, Roy Story here, waiting to find out whether Guy Madison has come up with that ball. And he has, as he's ready to chip off to the right portion of your screen. You can see him, the water in the background. There's a good close-up as he's trying to come up. Now, we're not sure just what he is playing there as far as whether that he is shooting 5 or whether shooting 3. He tried to pitch it, and he didn't pitch enough. Didn't get he had, looks like an 8-iron from here, and did not get the roll that he hoped he would get. And turned out to be a bit short and dropped into the trap just this side of the green apron. So he'll have a chance at it again. Now waiting to come on is Frank Tatum Jr. blasting out of there and coming on beautifully on the green, but a little bit off to the right side of the pin. Leaves him about a 6-foot putt, possibly 7. It'll break off the right. Frank Tatum Jr. is the amateur partner of Billy Bisdorf. The two of them are 2 under par as a pro-am and are just a little bit shy of being in the running when the big fellows get in here with their low scores. They're waiting to putt Off to the left side on the screen. Don Fairfield. Brother Billy Bisdorf. He has a long putt. That's a good 35, 40-foot jolt that goes over a hill about 2 feet in front of him and drops down with a good 45-degree slope and then has to come back uphill. See the ball sort of bend slightly on your screen as it heads up toward that pin, a little bit on the tee side of it, and short by 3 feet. Now, if he can come on, he can move in there and come up with his par 3. 218 yards, par 3, in the teeth of a strong wind. Guy Madison now, looking over Frank Tatum Jr.'s gray felt. It's ready to step into that sand trap. Obscure our view, but I believe he's using his putter, and he is. He's going to try to roll it over. He does, comes out on the green, but not quite enough legs, and it's short by 6 feet, leaves him a long putt to the pin. And Tom, unfortunately, we can't tell you exactly what that score is because we have not seen whether he has played the third ball or has actually been able to play his second. Rather than give an erroneous score, we'll let it ride from here. He is an important twosome, though, Fairfield and Madison, because they were 6 under at the end of 16. Gallery of about 1,500 gathered around the 17th. The green, watching Frank Tatum line up his putt. Actually, I believe that Don Fairfield will not be shooting at all, as he was not in the running for low medal, so it didn't make much difference. And Guy Madison had the best chance as far as the Pro-Am best ball was concerned. This is a tough 7-foot putt. Strokes toward the hole and breaks off the tee side. Missed by a couple of inches, leaves him a 6-footer to come back with. Now off to our right, as he will spot that ball, Frank Tatum. Off to Guy Madison again, who will be trying to see what he can do about putting it in. Has a little help from his pro partner. The fellow in the white cap is Don Fairfield. And he steps up for the test. Right toward the hole it goes, but not quite enough. Short by inches. He walks up to tap it in, and sometimes they can miss at that distance even. And so, not sure of what the score is. We know that he is over his par and possibly is anywhere from 2 to 4 strokes above, which would knock 2 to 4 off that -7 that they did have going into the 17th. This is Billy Bisdorf, a fine young pro with a lot of ability towards primarily the winter circuit. Plays it off the left front foot, the way you're supposed to putt that ball. And he strokes it through for 3-footer to drop it in. That clears up this foursome of Billy Bisdorf, Frank Tatum, Don Fairfield, and Guy Madison. Now let's go back to the clubhouse and John Daly.
There is much truth in the saying that good things come in pairs, good things and good people. And in the recording of the memorable twosomes of history, those which have had the greatest impact on the public, such as Anthony and Cleo, the Wright brothers, Stanley and Livingston et al., it would seem that no historian worth his salt could justly omit the team of Bing Crosby and Bob Hope.
Well, it's a nice pitch out. Like that? It's not bad for an ex-Academy Award winner.
Well, it's graceful, but girlish. While we're being complimentary, Bob, I want to tell you how much I enjoyed your performance in the big broadcast of 1938.
You have a memory like a nasty elephant. I'm still working.
Yes, I know. I heard about the big movie you just finished over in Paris for United Artists. Paris Holiday, isn't that what it's called?
Oh, yes.
Tell me, how was it playing straight for that funny man, Fernandel? How did it work out?
I loved every dollar of it.
He's a funny man.
He's so funny. If I
Isn't
never
he?
see him again, he's very funny.
You certainly picked yourself out a talented partner this time.
Yes, it was quite a change. Say, you look divine today. This is a beautiful little jukebox. Is that a Liberace reject?
Andy Devine is in here, you know.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Turn around. I want to see where Pittsburgh wound up last.
Yeah, Say, you look pretty athletic yourself. Lively League cap. I can scarcely wait for midnight and mask off everybody.
I was up at the crack of my back this morning.
Bob, we made an awful lot of pictures together, you know.
Yes. Is that it?
Yeah,
I remember every... Don't cue me, I don't... You look like Sam
You want me to read the state line?
I remember every one of them, don't you?
I sure do. And even so, it's nice having you here.
Thank you very
You
much.
show up year after year. It's welcome.
Well, I think this is the way to do it. Just a few rounds around this track, straight to the psychiatrist. I don't think there's anything. And I think you've got a great cause going here, Cuddles, but it must drive you crazy having to spend so much time on this golf course.
What?
I mean, seeing so much green and not being able to heist it over to the bank for deposit. Everett tells me Fort Knox is now running second to your wallet. They're putting in windows.
Did
so
Everett
you can
say
do all the
that?
shopping. That's what Everett said.
Oh, that blabbermouth. He'll be back squeezing them for Minute Maid next year.
What's the lowdown? Is it true that you've still got the first dollar Gary ever made?
Well, it could be. I know Gary hasn't got it.
Say, if they ever send a man up in our Sputnik, I want you to go.
Why?
It may be one way you can take it with you.
Say, the fellas around the caddy yard were telling me that you had a round of golf here yesterday. It was quite unusual. I think our audience might like to hear
You should have grabbed
what
me.
occurred. How'd you
Bing,
go?
I was hitting it right on the dimple.
Were you thrilling?
On the third hole, I smashed the dimple.
What was your score? What was your score?
Well, I just tapped it.
What
and
was your score?
There's a lot of Mike Wallace in you. I did
What'd
pretty
you
well.
shoot? What'd you shoot?
Out in 35, back in 112.
112. Coming back?
Wasn't my
Man,
fault.
you really fell apart. What happened?
Wasn't my fault. It was that slow foursome ahead of me.
Who was included in that group?
Jane Mansfield, Eckberg, Marie McDonald, and the balloon from Around the World in 80 Days. No, my caddy isn't back yet. I might as well level with you. I spent so much time in sand traps, they sent me citizenship papers from Saudi Arabia.
Oh, see here. Listen, I'd love to hear the whole thrilling story someday. Why don't you put it on tape, and I'll play it back sometime.
I'd like my washing machine, if you don't mind.
You
So
want
I
a
can
combo,
get to
man?
see, that's all. Unless you have some
Good
green
luck.
stamps
Play
or
well.
a little old vaudeville money with you, I'd like something. Thank you. Bye.
Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Harmon at the 18th green, and I understand that the top twosome of the day, the boys who were leading going in, are now coming into the 17th, so let's swing down there to Roy Story and see what's going on.
And Bob Reynolds, with Billy Casper Jr. stepping into it, takes an easy, nonchalant swing, skies a ball high up toward the green, and fading off to the left side, and on the green it goes. You can see it there. Billy Casper leaving himself about a 16-foot putt, and in a rather favorable position for putting, because that's the one spot on the green here on the 17th that does not fade off to the left or the right side. Check that. That's Billy Casper on the tee. It was Bob Reynolds, the big fellow that stepped into that beautiful drive. Billy now, with his usual dark sweater and light gray slacks, takes a practice swing. He's using an iron, too. And the first one we've seen here for quite a while. Here it comes. Off to the left side, fading and coming down into the crowd, and leaves him off the edge of the green with a good 30-yard to 40-yard approach to the pin. Billy Casper using a 2-iron, figuring that his woods might not correspond and stay in the direction they should. Playing it safe with the iron, and the iron actually betrayed him that time as it faded slightly. Nelson Cullenward coming off with a left-handed tee shot, and a beauty, too, as it falls right on the same spot that Tommy Volt landed a few moments ago, just a foot and a half off the green and about 16 feet away from the pin. Now Bob Rosberg onto the tee. Bobby's been having a difficult time, we understand. Here it comes, heading off to our right, off to our left, and back beyond the bunker and about 50 yards away from the pin here on the 17th. So the two pros, Bill Casper and Bobby Rosberg, are off the green. And the two amateurs, Cullen Ward and Bob Reynolds, are right on it, or close to, and are in fine position as amateurs to help their partners in the Pro-Am. At the moment, Bob Rosberg individually is 8 over par. As a team, Rosberg and Cullen Ward are 1 under. Bill Casper is 2 under par individually as a pro, which means that he is 10 strokes in front of Rosberg for individual low medal play. They were tied for first place yesterday. And as a team, Casper and Reynolds are 7 under par. So being 7 under par and at the start only 3 over, they are 4 strokes in front of Dow Finsterwald and Fred Briskin if Briskin and Finsterwald are playing par golf. That's Billy Casper on the left side there of the caddy. Most of the golfers, you'll notice, use the full golf glove. They don't wear the halfway with the fingers cut out. And I'm not sure whether that is a trend in style or whether they find that it's actually more beneficial to their game. Of course, in Monterey, you can usually say that it keeps their hand warm. But no cry about the weather on this 17th annual Bing Crosby Pro-Am, because it's been tremendous. Marshall separating the crowd now as Billy Casper and Bob Rosberg head into the throng. That's Casper coming out. Good close-up of Bill. The amazing thing about Billy Casper is that he's right up among the leading money winners, his second year on the circuit, and is one of the few exceptions to the rule that to be a good golfer, as in many other endeavors, to be expert at your business, you have to devote a lot of time to practice. And of course, it's nothing for a professional golfer like Venturi, or a real example, Ben Hogan in his days, practicing 4 to 6 hours a day on a practice tee. But Bill Casper says no practice for him if he can help it. He says he gets enough practice on the fairways. And he can do it, too, for the simple reason that he has a tremendous touch. His hands particularly don't care, you might say, what his arms or body happen to do. They are firm and straight, and when the club head meets the ball, it meets it squarely. 9 times out of 10. In fact, better than that. That's Bob Rosberg pitching onto the green, rolling over that little hill, and coming up toward the pin, falling away from it toward the tee side, leaving him a rather difficult 16 or 15-foot putt. Bob was 5 over at the 9th. He is 8 over here on the 17th. Now Billy Casper steps in. He's an easygoing fellow, has, even in a difficult situation like this, always a smile if it's needed. Chips it up with a 6 or 7 iron, rolls over the green, approaches the pin, still doesn't have enough power, but gets up and leaves him about an 8-foot putt in the same lie, basically, as that of Bob Rosberg. Now, those 2 balls have to go in from their positions in order for these 2 professionals to shoot par golf, which means it's a rather tough situation for them, individually and particularly as pro-ams. So it's up to the amateur partners to save the day on the 17th. You're looking now at Nelson Cullenward and his caddy. Nelson, the San Francisco golf writer, and one of the few left-handed golfers in the game, and one of the great left-handed golfers. As I said earlier, Casper and Reynolds are 7 under par. Cullenward and Rosberg 1 under as a team. That's the caddy with Bob Reynolds, ex-Stanford football great. Now, a man in the broadcasting business. Billy Casper walks over to clear a few candy bar wrappers off the green. He's a big man. 6'4", about 225. strokes it firmly, directly toward the hole, in again, out again, Finney again.